Hi, Derek Evans here, your author at hopeithelps.org. Today is step 5 of the 10 steps to bliss, and now we've kind of gotten to a point where all these things should start making sense. You should start feeling different. You should start looking at things differently. You're probably experiencing a lot of the same things that you experienced before, but you feel differently about them. That's a really good sign. Now it's more about tools. The tools in the final steps of the 10 steps to bliss, the tools that we're going to use to help take things to the next level. And number 5 of the 10 steps to bliss is all about really accepting and understanding impermanence. And impermanence is something that we all will agree in a conscious conversation is true. It makes sense. But the way that we act on a daily basis is usually quite different than that. For example, when something changes, whether it be unexpected or expected, a lot of times we experience sadness or we feel terrible. And it's because we have this deeply rooted feeling that everything's going to stay the same today, or that things are a certain way and that's how they are. And they're that way until something changes. But that's not actually what happens, because the whole world and everything in the world is changing every single nanosecond. Your body is changing, the matter around you is changing, everything's changing. And so, unfortunately, because of that kind of deeply rooted feeling of permanence, that, okay, everything's the same because I have the same job, I have the same kids, I have the same spouse, we live in the same house, the idea that because of those things, everything's permanent really causes a lot of problems. It causes us a lot of problems because we aren't prepared for change. We hold on to things. We tend to try to hold on to things and keep them the same, which is the wrong mindset we want to have. It's a very rigid mindset. And we want to open our minds up to expansion, which is what this path is all about. In order to do that, we have to accept impermanence, which is essentially just a change in everything every single day. And if we can do that, it'll allow us to do a lot of great things. Because now, instead of experiencing change in an unexpected way, where we might be reacting poorly to it, or we might be looking at it with a negative light, or we might be hanging our heads for weeks about something, instead of that, we will expect change. And in the expectation of change, we will accept it. By accepting it, we will look at change as though it is a new opportunity. Normal. It's okay. Things have changed, that's great. That's what life is all about. And that change in mindset is huge. Of course, when we talk about impermanence, the most important thing to understand that it's impermanent is our physical body. We are all going to die at some point. And that is the most difficult thing. I call this the hard problem with impermanence, is that we have to accept our own death. We have to understand that our body is changing. And no matter how much plastic surgery we do or what vitamins we take, at some point, our physical body will no longer be alive. And that's the hardest part for most people, because it's not something anyone wants to talk about. People don't have dinner conversations around death unless you're having dinner with me or some of my philosophical friends. But those conversations are great because it opens you up to the reality that, yeah, I need to accept the impermanence of myself. As soon as you do that, everything changes. Now, when you accept the impermanence of your own physical body, you look at life completely differently. You don't take a single thing for granted. Not a single thing. I mean, from the way that we pay for stuff with little pieces of plastic with magnets on them, you're amazed by that. And you're thankful for it. To a great sunset, which you won't miss anymore. And you probably will find yourself standing out in the rain one day, just feeling the rain, just happy to be alive and be able to feel the rain. That's what it's like when you accept your death. It's not a place where darkness is when you accept your death. The place of darkness is when you have not accepted it yet, because it's looming out there. As soon as we open up the door and go, hey, it's okay. I've accepted it's going to happen. Don't know when, but that's fine. I don't need to know when, because I accept change. I understand change is going to happen. It's going to happen to everyone else. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to everything else. And that's just the way that it is. So if we can start to absorb this concept of impermanence across all aspects of life and all aspects of experience, this is what will take you to the next level of expansion. This is what took me to the next level of expansion, was being able to accept that and look at life from a different set of eyes. Happy meditating. I sure hope it helps. Namaste.